The NFL Combine has officially wrapped up. I know I'm a little bit late to this, but I wanted to give my take on the winners and risers of this Combine. A lot of people take these Combine numbers and absolutely run with them. At a certain point, a lot of people's brain just turns into numbers, 40s, verticals, broads, three cones. Even though tape still reigns king, a lot of this stuff actually does matter. It's not the whole thing. A lot of people exaggerate this and act like some of these Combine winners are going to be amazing. It's not, but it's definitely a big part of it. So today we're combining everything: offensive linemen, quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, tight ends, edge rushers, and breaking down the 10 biggest winners from Indianapolis. Let's start in the trenches. The first guy we're going to be going over is Monroe Freeling. I don't know if anyone helped themselves more and made more money from this combine than Monroe Freeling. He measured in at 6'7", 315 pounds, and pretty much 35-inch arms. He finished with an RAS score of 9.99. At 6'7", 315 pounds, his 40-yard dash was a 4.93. His 10-yard split was a 1.71. His vert is over 33.5 inches, and he put up a 9.7 broad jump. His 9.99 RAS score is basically perfect. The scorecard, of course, is incomplete because he didn't work with the agility drills, but besides this point, it's still really, really impressive. What makes Monroe Freeling's rise feel so special is he started at Georgia. He's only played this year. In the beginning of the season, he was kind of an afterthought. He really wasn't that good. But for the second half on, he was one of the most dominant players in college football, at least on the offensive line. It definitely is a small sample size, and that's going to 1,000% be the biggest knock on Monroe Freeling, is he just really hasn't played that many games or started that many games. But when you combine his size and athleticism, he's 6'7", 35-inch arms, he's 315. He is a legitimate franchise left tackle. He very may well have put himself into the top 10. You have players like Francis Maui-Noah, Spencer Fano. While they may be the better players right now, they're both right tackles, and they may even have to slide into guard, or maybe even Fano plays center. Monroe Freeling is really the only legitimate left tackle in this class, pretty much, especially for the first round. I could absolutely see Freeling going in the top 10, especially at number 6 of the Browns, who need offensive linemen so badly. For the next and last big boy we're going to be talking about is Max Ihenacho, tackle out of Arizona State. Few prospects have had a better offseason than Max Ihenacho. He lit it up at the Senior Bowl and he lit it up at the Combine. I'm rooting for him too. He has an awesome story. He's from Nigeria and he came here, I don't even know, like 16, 17, 18 years old. Started playing football extremely late, and he is a monster. At Arizona State, he was a rock solid right tackle this year for them. Senior Bowl, he was locking guys up on one-on-ones, pancaking dudes, getting in fights. This dude is feisty and physical. Then he goes to Indy and decides to run a 4.1940 in his 40-yard dash, which ties the fastest among all tackles. He nearly has 34-inch arms. Then he scores a 9.91 RAS score. At the Combine, he measured in at 6'5", 321 pounds. He's another tackle who has awesome size, awesome athleticism, and he is a dude. Go watch some of his Senior Bowl highlights. This is someone you absolutely want on your team, and frankly, a guy that you kind of want to root for. Moving on to some of the skill guys. Saturday was a day, and it was Mike Washington Jr.'s day. He measured in at 6'1", 223 pounds. He also has 33-inch arms, which is quite long for his size. I mean, this dude has awesome size. He's 6'1", 223 pounds. He's a big back. And not a big back in a bad way. He's just a big back. In his 40-yard dash, he ran a 4.33. Then, if that wasn't already good enough, in his 10-yard split, he ran a 1.51. He has a vert of 39 inches, and his broad jump was 10.8. He was hands down the most athletic running back that tested. On his RAS score, a perfect, again, it is a little bit faltered because he didn't do the agility drills, but still a perfect 10 on just the speed, size, and explosive grade is awesome. He was pretty much 96th percentile on honestly almost everything. This dude is an absolute freak athlete, and after he was done, if you watch the little sideline moment, he was super emotional, crying. You could see how much that meant to him, which is awesome. You love to see these players care. On tape, he's a big back, and in the good way. and he has real play speed. This dude is electric. He's fast. I also saw a bunch of comments trying to say he was like 24, 25 years old. He's not. He's 22 years old. He'll be 23 in the when the NFL season starts. So it's not like he's a super old back. Players like RJ Harvey and them were even older than him. Some of the big critiques for this guy is he needs to be a little bit more aggressive in pass protection. Ball security needs to be improved. Still growing in a true 3-down role. But the one thing about him, you can't teach 4.33 speed at 223 pounds. For me, he easily earned a day 2 pick. He's a rotational weapon early on in his career who become a featured back in his system. He's a 3-down back. That's what I think. And I mean, he's just a bell cow back. He could be in every single down back. The next guy we're going to talk about, and probably everyone's talking about, is Taylon Green out of Arkansas. This dude is 6'6", and I mean, he's built straight out of a damn lab. He had one of the freakiest, best, most amazing quarterback testing performances ever. He decided to come in and run a 4.36, breaking RG3's. I believe he was the 40-yard dash, the number 1 40-yard dash. So now it goes to Taylon Green. He came in with 43.5-inch vert. That is insane. He broke the record by 3 inches from Anthony Richardson, who back, 2-3 years ago, was the freakiest quarterback there was. And then, not only that, he decided we need to do a little bit better. An 11.2 broad jump, which is he's now the number 1 record holder for that. It's absolutely absurd at his size what he could do, and the potential is really through the roof with Taylon Green. And in his throwing drills, the ball explodes out of this dude's hand. His deep ball placement cleaned up as they let him rip it. But overall, he's extremely raw. His short accuracy just isn't the best. His mechanics are not that good, and he's been in college now for 5 years, and he's still very raw. Maybe a team does take a chance on him on day 3. His traits are unreal. They may even be asked to move to a wide receiver tight end, maybe the Terrell Pryor effect. Go Bucks. I love Terrell Pryor. But if he could do it late in his NFL career, Taylon Green, why could he not do it in the beginning of his NFL career? He's a freak of an athlete. And if there's one person to be able to make the switch this late in their career going on to the NFL, I definitely think it is Taylon Green. If not, he definitely needs to be in a stable QB room with a solid coaching staff that can actually develop quarterbacks, because if everything comes together and it clicks, he is going to be awesome. The only thing, it's going to be very hard for that to happen. And now moving to the defensive side of the ball, a sweetheart story that everyone's going to love. Jacob Rodriguez out of Texas Tech, one of the best players on that team, one of the best stories in college football. He was also a former quarterback at Virginia, transferred to Texas Tech as a walk-on, developed into an all-American Heisman contender. He came in and measured at 6'1", 231 with 31-inch arms. Not that that matters a whole ton, but he definitely is a bit undersized for an off-ball linebacker. His testing scores were through the roof and probably surprised everyone, including me. In the 40, he ran a 4.57. His 10-yard split was a 1.6. His vert, which actually is very surprising, is 38.5 inches. Then for the broad jump, 10.1. And he was one of the only people that actually did the agility drills. In the 3-cone, he got a 6.9. In the 20-yard shuttle, he got a 4.19. His RAS score was a 9.23. He did extremely well and honestly tested a lot better than most people thought he was going to do. The only thing that's clearly holding him back with this grade is his height and weight. It's only 49th and 48th percentile. That's pretty much something we kind of already knew going into this. We knew he wasn't the biggest linebacker in the world. One thing I give him credit for is he is explosive as hell. It says here, according to Brett Coleman, he got that 6'9" 3-cone at the end of the day after 10 attempts because guys kept slipping. He stayed until he got that. That's just one thing about Jacob Rodriguez and why so many people like him. That competitiveness, that toughness, that grit, that drive. One thing is that dude is competitive as hell, and NFL teams are certainly going to like that. I've said it once already today, but he's just one of those guys that you want to root for. For the next guy we're going to be talking about is the shortest player on this list by far. That is the wide receiver Deion Burks out of Oklahoma. Came in at just 5'10", 180 pounds. But one thing is that did not stop him in the 40. He ran a 4.3 in the 40-yard dash, which is insane. This guy has blazing speed. For his vert, 42.5 inches. That is absolutely nuts. He led all wide receivers in that 10-11 broad jump, and his dude at 180 pounds benched 26 bench reps at 225. And while his arms are a bit shorter, which probably helped with him with that, it's still very impressive none the least. If you didn't know, that is one of the best wide receiver bench numbers that we've really ever seen before. He wasn't the most productive guy in college at Oklahoma or Purdue, but when you factor in 2 horrible offenses, 2 horrible quarterback plays, He was just really underutilized and not used correctly. I think he's going to be a plug and play slot player. I think this dude's going to be immediately in the slot. Whatever team drafts him, he is going to be awesome for them. Just because he's pretty much going to be the slot only doesn't mean he's not as good as other players. He has real upside to him. Like, I really like this guy a lot. Going to another wide receiver in a completely different spectrum. This guy comes in at 6'5" and weighs 216 pounds. Quite the opposite from Deion Burks. But one thing they do have similar is this guy runs a 4.31 at 6'5", 216 pounds. Not only that, he has a 11.2 broad jump. He scored a perfect 10 on the RAS score. Again, he's one of those guys who didn't do any of the agility drills, so the card is kind of skewed, but he is pretty much 99th percentile in everything. Height is, his vert, his broad jump, his 40-yard dash, everything is 99th percentile. Like you probably already know, he's very tall with a massive catch radius. And also something I thought was kind of cool, he averaged a touchdown every 4 catches in college. As you know, he has elite speed. The only thing really about him is he kind of lacks a route tree, probably why he didn't do the agility drills. But overall, someone I think who definitely has a ton of potential and could be utilized somewhere in the league. Another guy that I really want to talk about that I don't see a whole lot of people talking about is Jeremy Bernard out of Alabama. Another wide receiver. He came to the combine. He's 6'1", 206 pounds. To me, this guy's just a ball player. It just kind of feels like no matter what, he's just a dude who's going to make plays when it matters. One thing that quite surprised me is how fast he is. He ran a 4.48 in the 40. He had a 10.5 broad jump. In the 3-cone, he was elite. He was among the best wide receivers that participated in this. 6.71 3-cone, 32.5-inch vert, which is pretty solid, and then a 4.31 short shuttle. And while, yeah, he didn't dominate really any of these drills besides the 3-cone. The 3-cone at his size is pretty outstanding. He really is an awesome player. He was the best wide receiver on that Alabama team who has Ryan Williams. I really liked Jeremy Bernard, even though I'm an Ohio State fan. In his position drills, he looked really good. He looked smooth, clean break, strong hands. He has natural body control. Feels like a long-time NFL receiver. This guy just has a knack for the ball, and he's a really good player. For his RAS score, it wasn't anything too crazy. It was a 9.03, which still is really solid. His 40-yard dash was good. His broad jump was really well, and same with his 3-cone. I didn't even mention it, but also the 10-yard split was a 1.52, which is very good. I'm sure he probably wished he didn't participate in the shuttle drill, but overall, he had a really good combine. Also, I respect anybody who does these agility drills because not a whole lot of people do them. And now for another guy that absolutely killed the combine and definitely is going to make himself some money for this is the tight end out of Stanford, Sam Rush. He's probably only one of the true inline tight ends really in this class that's really worth a top pick. He's going to be the second or third tight end off the board. He measured in at 6'6", 267 pounds. He ran a 4.740, which I know a lot of people are like, that's slow, that's slow. He's 6'6", 267 pounds. He's a true blocking tight end. And he's definitely still a pass catcher. He has some value in that. Not only that, his vert was a 38.5-inch vert. That's nuts for his size. 10.6 broad jump. He had super solid agility numbers. He was one of the only people who did all the testing. Like I said, I have a lot of respect for the people who did all the testing. He scored a 9.94 on the RAS score. He's one of the guys who's a absolute willing blocker, can stretch the seam, flash and route running at the Senior Bowl, looks really, really good. In a tight end class with a lot of different bodies and a lot of guys just mainly being pass catchers, he might go much, much farther earlier than probably what you're expecting. For the final and 10th guy on this list, we're going back to another receiver in Skylar Bell. He's one of those guys who were extremely productive. He ranked top 3 in the FBS in catches, yards, and touchdowns in the 40. And in his testing, he ran a 4.4 flat, 1.53 10-yard split. He had a 41-inch vert and 11.1 broad jump. He's most likely going to be reduced to the slot, but I definitely think he can switch inside outside. He has adequate size and field stretching speed. That's for damn sure. One thing about Skylar is this dude has instant acceleration. He is extremely fast and has really good acceleration. He threatens all 3 levels of the field. He also has great body control with the sudden hands on contested catches. One thing he probably needs to work on is his route running tree, and he also had a decent amount of drops throughout his college career. But you also had to factor in that his quarterback at UConn was underthrowing him a lot. Didn't have the best quarterback. In the NFL, I think he has a ton of potential and a lot of upside to be a productive NFL starter. That's going to be it. That is my top 10 winners. There were so many other players that I could have added in here, one including like Sonny Styles, who I didn't talk about. Everyone's already talking about him. Everyone already knows about Tony Styles, how awesome he is, and he absolutely broke the combine. I just wanted to shed some light on maybe some of these other guys that are slightly falling under the radar. This was one of the best combines that we've seen in quite a long time. Some of these guys improved their stock, some changed their draft range, some guys even changed their lives. The draft board is moving. We're going to be doing a mock draft on the channel maybe this week or next week, so stay tuned for that. Drop in the comments down below who you think made themselves the most money this week at the combine and who you think increased their stock the most. Anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.